Okay, just a quick update on the beta. We've been releasing beta 1 and just want to go over the changes quickly. So first thing is I've removed the weird setting which was like disable no crash. It was very confusing, but anyway, I've changed its name to skip conversion to mesh. And it's disabled by default because we discovered that having it on actually makes geonodes mostly fail to work. So if you're not using geonodes and stuff, you can turn it on to get a bit of extra performance, but I'm just going to have it off as the default, and it will do the mesh conversion for all objects, which means geonodes will mostly work automatically. So that's that. And I've changed the settings. So settings node is now this, and the idea is that you'll have one or two, you can have as many as you want, but you'll have the main way to set your recipe settings is going to be via this one node, which has everything in it. We'll have a bunch of presets that you can save for it. I've also hopefully mostly fixed all of the preset stuff, so it should work without any problems, without having to select the node first. The solution I got for that is basically when it draws this menu or draws this menu, it will record which node drew the menu, and then whatever action's taken is assumed to be done on that node. So there's no way you can you can't open the menu here and then you can't have two menus open at the same time. So it has to have been the last one that was drawn, and that should hopefully fix everything. I've also made it so it doesn't show the same preset selected when you use a different one. They don't all update to the same value. And I also broke any presets you made in the last version with these changes. So you'll have to delete and recreate any presets that you had. Sorry about that, but it's just the way it is. I'll be more careful going forward to try and avoid invalidating old presets, but in this case I thought it was worth doing. So basically I'm imagining, you'll have your production settings maybe, and then you'll have maybe your testing settings, and then you just switch between which one's active using the button. You can only have one active of these at a time, and that will be used for everything in the recipe. So then in addition to that, I've certainly basically put back the old settings, but they're clearly labeled as overrides. So if you want to override settings for a particular node, you pull out your override settings and plug it in where you want it to override, and that just overrides the global settings. It also has the same presets. I think that it's probably best if they all share the same preset list. So obviously it's only going to use the preset settings that are for this node, but if you make a preset with this, it will actually include the default settings for everything. So you can use them anywhere. Maybe they should be separated, but I don't know. Let me know what you think, whether there should be separate presets for each of the override nodes. For now, I think it makes sense that they all share the same ones. So it's just those three. They work how you'd imagine, have the presets, and I've clearly labeled the outputs the same. So mesh settings, pass settings, pass settings. Should all be clear. I no longer change the name of sockets when you plug stuff into them, in case that was confusing. And finally, I've changed the pass settings to have this override button. Turning it on will let you override the number of samples. This works whether you've got a anything plugged into it or not. So in all cases, you can just set the sample count independent of anything else by turning on the override. If you set samples to 0, maybe I should make the minimum 1, but if you set it to 0, it will ignore it. So don't set it to 0 if you want it to, override it, because you can't have 0 samples. It has to be at least 1. But previous behavior was that you could set it to 0, so I've left it like that for now. I think that's pretty much it that I've wanted to talk about. I just cleaned up some of the socket labels and such so that they're more standardized, and this is the settings sort of system that I think we'll stick with going forward. I think it's a good compromise between the two. All right, that's all for now. Catch you later.